gallons of water for every month that you want to store water for per person. So if you're a family of 4, that would be 200 gallons of water would last you 30 days. And that's just for drinking. That's not bathing or cooking or cleaning or anything like that. So bottles of water, that's a lot of storage space. That's 8 cases of bottled water. Better to have one of these, but as you'll notice, how do you get the water out? Well, there's 2 ways. You want to bring the camera over here. You can see that these have little lids that come off. You can screw a pump in there, usually a cheap little plastic pump they put in there, and you can pump it out at the top. Or you can install one of these on the bottom. You just hook a hose up to it and get your water out whenever you can. We're going to do this method because I think it's longer lasting. This isn't going to break like a cheap plastic pump that you're going to get off of Amazon. So that's what we're going to do today. How can I install this into this barrel? All right, well, you're going to need some tools. Let's grab those tools. Obviously, you're going to need to drill a hole into the barrel to get this in here. Next, you're going to need what's called a bulkhead fitting. This is the wrong one. This one's too big. This is the right one. This is a little fitting. It's reverse thread. And it's going to allow us to put this through the hole that we drill in. This will be on the inside of the barrel. This will be what you'll see on the outside of the barrel. And then we're going to screw this, once we've made that, into this. And voila, we're going to have our hose thread at the bottom. So let's get started. Coincidentally, I have a hole saw here that just happens to be the right size. You want it just bigger than the hole you're going to be drilling. That's him. Tip over the barrel. Okay, here's tip number 1. Pro tip number 1. You do not want this hole on the exact bottom of your barrel for 2 reasons. Number 1, this is going to need some room to fit in the bottom. So if your hole is here and this can't fit all of a sudden, you're out of luck. Secondly, you don't want to have your hole at the very bottom because you don't want to be drinking out of this stuff that's on the very bottom of your barrel. There's going to be solids and debris that settle down to the bottom, and you want to keep them on the bottom. So you don't want to be drinking that. You want your solids and particulates to be here while you're drinking out of here. So we're just going to drill our hole near the bottom but not on the bottom. Be very careful. We're not in a hurry. There we go. Now, unfortunately, plastic did not come out with the drill, which it usually does, and then it dropped in the bottom. Not a problem. We're just going to put some water in there and we're going to wash it away. Out of that hole.
7 hours later.
Alright, we got that out. What I did is I put about a gallon of water in there, and then I just turned this like that, and it came right out of that hole there. Now, these little things, if you want to get a close-up camera person, right here on the hole, these are called potential leaks, so we need to get rid of all of these little fibrous things right here. I'm just going to sand them. We want to do everything we can to alleviate potential leaks. Because if we get this whole thing together and it leaks, you're going to see a grown man cry. I don't want to see that. You don't want to see. So we're getting rid of all of that stuff so that it's not going to leak. And there's that. We're going to dispose of that properly. Now, I know what you're saying. How do you get this inside part inside? It won't fit. I could try to put it into this hole. I can't get my hand in there. I can't. How am I going to get this inside the barrel and get it to stick out like this? This actually stopped me from doing this project for a year. I just said, I had maybe was going to stick a stick down there with some tape on here and try to do it, and then it dawned on me what would work, and I've already tried it once, so I know that it works, and that is this method here. Very simple. We are going to get this piece of wire. Hopefully you have a shorter piece of wire around. I could cut this wire shorter, but I don't want to. I want to keep as much of the length as possible. And let's face it, you're not worth me cutting this wire. So we're going to feed this wire through here and out into the hole. What we're going to do to make it easier, because I love easy, to make life easier on ourselves, tipping that barrel toward the wire, and there it's close. It's wanting to go out. Okay, now it's out. We're going to grab that wire, pull it through. Again, a shorter piece of wire would be so wonderful. Now the big debate is, what side should this little washer be? I know it's a big debate. It's been in all the news. Should this washer go on the outside of the barrel, or should it go on the inside and be part of this? I'm going to say that my leak, if it's going to leak, it's going to come from the inside of the barrel, not the outside. So I want that washer on the inside. Okay? I could be wrong. I think it'd probably work either way. But we're simply going to take this, feed it down the wire, try not to pull the wire out of the hole. There it goes, down to the bottom. And look at that. Voila! Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No camera tricks, no cuts. Before I do this, however, I am going to grab some silicone, and I'm going to silicone the bejesus out of this. Now if you use this, it cannot say caulk. It has to say 100% silicone. If it says siliconized caulk, no, it'll turn into just a puddle of crappy goo. You need 100% silicone. This is bad stuff. When the nukes go off and the world is destroyed, the only thing left is going to be things that have silicone attached to them. All right, so here we go. First, try to take off the top. If that's not successful, you're out of luck. And I don't know why this top's not coming off.
7 hours later.
You know those films where everything just goes perfectly? It looks so magical and easy. Then you try to do it at home and nothing ever works. Well, I'm just telling you. This is how it really looks, folks. We don't edit stuff out. nothing ever goes smoothly. If your project goes smoothly, you did something wrong. Okay, we're going to squeeze from the bottom just like toothpaste.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
And I want this inside as much as I can on that washer on the inside. He's turning and he's turning. This is not the time to spare silicone, even though it is expensive. You want it globbed on. You also want to make sure the inside is dry, because silicone sticks better to a dry surface. Just want to get it started. There we go. Now here's the dangerous part. Because at some point this whole thing is just going to start spinning. You're going to want to grab this part right here with some channel locks. And we'll grab a little pipe wrench from over here. And we're going in reverse direction. Whoops. Like I said, reverse direction. Now the temptation is to grab this like this. You do that, you're going to wreck these threads inside that this is going to thread into. You don't want to wreck these threads by grabbing them like this. If you do, grab it as far back as you can on the inside so that you'll wreck those threads that this is never going to reach anywhere. So we're going to tighten this up by going in reverse. Could use a bigger wrench. Another thing you can do, if you want to have a better working condition, simply tip it up like that. You know that's going to come off. Now we're going to gingerly grip the outside because we don't want it to collapse on us. We do want to get it tight. Alright, that's about as tight as you want to get it. Wipe everything clean. And there's our bulkhead fitting. Pull our wire out now. Now we're going to fit our silicock into here. Plumbing hit number 743. There's two ways to seal this. You could use plumbing tape. You could wrap it around these threads like so. I do not choose to do it that way. Whenever I'm using metal threads to plastic threads, I do not use plumber's tape, simply for the reason that these threads like to strip out. The metal threads on this silcock like to strip out the plastic threads. So I don't want to build those threads up. I want to use thread sealant, which I don't have here. Where's my thread sealant? Well, it's got to be within reach somewhere. Like I was saying, I don't want to build up any more on these metal threads because it's already going to want to strip these plastic threads out. So I'm just going to seal these threads with this. You need something. You can't use nothing. You could, but you're going to get leaks. You want to seal these threads, but you don't want to build the threads up so that they cross thread into here or strip them. Be very careful that you're not cross threading. Very ginger. That's a good start. Perfect. Again. I would hold on to this while I'm threading it so that it's not moving that silicone seal around. Threading this in the correct way, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now, here's my advice. My advice is that you don't thread this so that the threads so that the hose threads are pointing down. You think so, but you want it really pointing sideways and just a little bit down, because when you're attaching a hose to it, you want to be able to attach the hose to it. If it's pointed down, then you're going to have to be trying to get that down. So you want that really pointed sideways, maybe just a little bit down so that it drips all the water out when you're done. Take your rag, you wipe all this thread sealant off of here. You get thread sealant on your clothes, kiss that piece of clothing goodbye. It's made to resist water. So it's not coming off in the wash. It's on there forever. I have so many clothes with thread sealant on it. It's been on there for years. We're going to let that silicone dry 24 hours. Then I'm going to fill this bad boy up with water and we'll see what happens. There you have it. This is called a bulkhead fitting, silcock. This is a 3/4 inch female for the bulkhead. They also come in half. Whatever you get for the bulkhead female fitting is what you need to get, obviously, for the silcock's male fitting. So 3/4, 3/4, half, half. So pay attention. Don't mix. You don't want to mix and match sizes on this. So when you get your bulkhead fitting, make sure that your silcock is the correct size that fits in there. Tomorrow we'll see if it holds water. If it leaks, we'll see. You may see a grown man cry.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I'm filling up the barrel right now. My advice to you would be, put it where you are going to keep it before you start filling it up, because water is 8 pounds to the gallon. Every gallon of water is 8 pounds. So that's 50 gallons times 8 is 400 pounds. Put that barrel wherever it's going to be and then fill it up, which is what I did. So we're filling it up. Turn it around. I can show you what's going on here. We're going to see if that bad boy leaks or not. It wasn't leaking yet, so I'm just hopeful that our work is going to stay good. Let's get underneath. Looks good. No leakage yet. I'm liking it. Now, my problem is, this is outside. In Washington State, it freezes in the winter. So I'm underneath of this. I'm cleaning it out. Don't worry, it's a mess right now. I know. But just show you that we're outside. I've got a tarp over this area. And barrel is outside. I'm going to have to protect it against freezing, because if it freezes, freezing water expands and it'll blow that little thing right out. and then it'll defrost when the weather's done freezing, and it'll all leak out. So if I were you, would put yours in a garage. I don't have a garage. I have a carport, so that doesn't do me any good either. So I would put it somewhere, either in the house, in the basement, somewhere where it's not going to freeze. I don't have any options at this point other than that. When the winter comes and there's a forecast for freezing weather, well then, when there's a forecast for freezing weather, then we'll deal with it then. Anybody have any ideas? Feel free to give me a shout out. Looks like it's working for now. I'll keep you updated.